If you're someone that suffers from having sensitive teeth, but you want them whiter, I recommend Sensodyne Clinical White.
I was profoundly influenced by the late, brilliant visionary Sergio Marchionne, the late Windsor native, Windsor, Ontario, and the CEO of Fiat Chrysler. And he talked incessantly in the years before he very sadly passed away from cancer. He talked about the changing auto industry in the world. He said, look, it's always been capital intensive, but it is becoming much more capital intensive. The amounts are becoming gargantuan. The R&D is going through the roof because of the need for autonomous vehicles and EVs. He actually went so far as to say the world auto market cannot support 10 giant auto companies. It's not, the market isn't big enough. They got to consolidate. So taking from that point, and you look at this, Canada can only survive if we have access to a very large market. And there's only 3 very large markets for autos. One's called China, one's Europe, and one's the US. And all 3, by the way, protect the manufacturing sector, including, most recently, the US. And so, unless Mr. Trump reverses his decision, I think that those tariffs are here to stay. If they're here to stay, those cars are not economic, and those car companies will close those plants in the months and a few years ahead and close them down.
And with that said, that means Canada needs to pivot and pivot quickly. This has happened in other countries before, like Australia. Mitsubishi, Ford, Toyota all left, all between 2008 to 2017. And essentially, Australia doesn't have an auto industry anymore. Instead, they pivoted to lithium, iron ore, and LNG, and they're better for it. Now, I'm not saying that's what Canada should do, but maybe we should have another plan where the government's...
Oh, fuck.
Where the government steps in and said, you know what, it's time to really push hard on LNG or something else and start creating those jobs while we're weathering this storm. We have a backup plan. And we look at the example of New Zealand. They used to have an auto industry, Nissan, Ford, Honda. Removed all the tariffs on vehicles, and guess what? All these auto companies just disappeared. Not needing to pay the tariff, they stopped producing cars in New Zealand. Well, since they've moved to tourism and agriculture and other things, but it isn't the be-all, end-all, but we need to pivot. We need to pivot quickly. Unfortunately, we've got a stupid government that only wants to enrich themselves. Now, what we've got here is conservative Kyle Seaback, who's the labor critic. This is a good look. Pierre Poilievre has opened the doors to the conservatives, going out not only on CBC, he goes on CTV as well, and he holds his ground here really well. David Cochrane tries to drill down and protect Mark Carney's position, and Kyle dishes it straight here.
We've heard from Industry Minister Melanie Joly. She's called this decision by Stellantis completely unacceptable, and the government will fight for these jobs. What do you make of this latest hit to the auto sector?
Well, look, I think her statement and $1.50 gets you a coffee at Tim Hortons. They seem to have outrage for all kinds of things that are happening, but very little action. This is just absolutely devastating news for the people in Brampton and the workers at that plant. These could be absolutely permanent job losses. 3,000 Canadians who now have to wonder how they're going to pay for things in a terrible cost of living crisis that we're all going through.
I hope he does go to jail.
And President Trump is getting,
as he should,
a massive investment and a transfer.
He's just a dirty little Sanchez
from Canada into the United States. If we remember back in March,
everybody's interested in buying this, wants to see it running.
Look at where we are in October. It's the exact opposite that's happened.
Unfortunately, Mark Carney's getting exactly.
And I don't blame him.
He wants his stock value to stay nice and high and go up. This is just so insane. Carney needs to be forced to sell all of his stocks immediately.
And the industry minister has done. She sent a letter to the chief executive officer of Stellantis, in which Melanie Joly threatens legal action, saying that Stellantis has made legally binding obligations to Canada, and they will hold the company to full account and exercise
this
all
truck's not on,
including legal. And then calling for them to extend support for the workers who have been essentially actually furloughed.
This
because of
truck
the
is a little off.
For the plant that was on the books until today.
There we go.
What do you make of the threat of legal action? Is that a strong enough message to send to the company?
Woohoo.
I mean, I guess when you have nothing left to offer, you threaten a company with legal action instead of creating the environment where the company wants to make the investments in Canada. The failure that has happened here is the failure of this government, and it's a failure of the negotiation to remove the tariffs. What's amazing to me is Mark Carney said that this would all be resolved by July 21st. Of course, he's missed that deadline. In fact, tariffs have gotten worse. But even more shocking to me was the Prime Minister got up in question period.
I'd still be
week and
surprised
reminded of
if
the
he went
fact
to
that
jail,
there's only
though.
a 10%
I really
tariff
would.
on Canadian autos, saying that's the best in the world. I've talked to Unifor auto workers, and they've told me that the 10% tariff is a tragedy for them. Like, this could mean the end of the Canadian auto industry if the tariff stays at 10%. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister is saying 10% is a great deal. So he's either terribly informed or he's just trying to put a
All right. Do a video here for Bud. Oh, video. Oh, speed up Montana Rail a little bit. Where again going? And reverse. And let's not crash in the Montana Rail link. Park them by the passenger station for a minute. Valley works pretty smooth. Good old working running Atlas. There, did the video for Buddy. No, I will send it here. And I'll put them back away. Pretty sure I got them all dusted off. And I paid $150 for this locomotive years ago. Might have been 3 years ago. No, probably 4. Back then, I thought that was a deal for a DC locomotive. But that's expensive for an old Atlas. As I learned to learn back in the day, when I was new to the hobby and knew nothing, man, I was getting ripped off left, right, and center. Hugely ripped off. Hey, Jim. Good afternoon, my friend. Things are not too bad. I didn't even think I was going to have a stream this early, but there's really not a whole lot going on. I'll get him back in the box. I'll probably be in and out of this stream a little bit because I'm just rearranging a few things. I'll put this little thing back over the locomotive. Oh, that wasn't supposed to pop up. There, now I'll get it. Back in its thing. So yeah, hopefully Buddy does decide to buy it. And that'd be great. Because I will never use it. Yeah, I was up pretty early in the morning today. I was up around about 6 o'clock, had a coffee, got my daughter ready for school. I did a couple deliveries there in the morning, and I got a bit of a headache. Then I decided to take a nap for a couple hours, so I did that. So I napped from like 11 till around 1 in the afternoon. And then I went and went and picked up my friend there from work, and then dropped her off home. And then I went and picked up Lily. Not my daughter. My daughter's name is Lily. Picked up Lily, and then I took her out for a poutine. We did that. We hung out in the car for a little bit, and then something annoying really happened. I get a nice delivery. I get a nice $35 delivery, and I show up to go take the delivery, and then it turns out like someone else took it when I got assigned to it. That's annoying. It's not the first time it happened. And then I just kind of hung out in the car in a bit, seeing if anything else was coming in. And I guess it just got slow, and I'm just like, screw it. I'm just coming home. I'm going to come home and just live stream and enjoy a beer. Here I am. Man, it's so hard to like, yeah. Oh man, it was like, man, a $35 delivery. That's a nice delivery. Like, Frago. Yeah, I was a little sour over that. The system glitches at times, and there's really. I did call up customer support, and they did say they were going to reimburse me, but I didn't see any reimbursement yet. So I'm just like, ah. And then I understand, friggin', everyone's having financial difficulty in life. I'm there too. It's so hard selling like locomotives. And it's like, for me and David, it's so hard. It's so much work to send things in the States now in mail that it's not even worth the effort to do it. So there goes us selling things to the States, because I sold quite a few things to the States, but now with so much time and effort put into it with paperwork, it's not even worth it anymore. Like for example, Jim, I have this beautiful Atlas Gold. It's only a year old. Like, it's a new run, lock sound and everything. But dude, I've been trying to sell this for $150 Canadian. Like, for the past 5 months. Haven't been able to get rid of it. I just don't use it. I'm just getting rid of the stuff I don't. If I'm not going to use it, I just want to get rid of it. But it's just an example, how hard it is to sell, and I'm selling this $100 below market value because I know, dude, it is very reasonable. I just want it gone, right? I want someone else to enjoy it, but it's so sad. It's sad. Everyone's so hard up. Normally this would sell for about 250 Canadian bucks. And even David's in the same boat. He's trying to sell stuff, and getting a bite is really hard. Yeah, I imagine you tried Marketplace and everything, right? I did try eBay, but they want like so much information, and then if you're a new seller, as David found out, they hold your money for like a month or nearly a month, and I don't know how long they do that for. It just sounds like a huge pain in the butt, right? Other than that, I'm just putting a lot of my locomotives back in their boxes and up in the closet. I got everything all nicely organized because I want to get rid of one of my plastic drawers I was using because my mom needs something to put more things in. So I'm just like, I might as well put the locomotives away in their boxes, right? And I have a collection of like Tower 55 locomotives that I was collecting them. And I don't even know what to do with them now because I'll probably never use them. The problem with buying Tower 55, they had a big flaw with them, and you can get the part. When they aged, they got little. It's not even a worm gear. What they use for a worm gear is just a little tiny gear, and they all crack with age. You cannot get a Tower 55 without a little cracked drive axle gear. They're all cracked. So even if it's brand new in box, they're still cracked because everything's still aged. So I mean, I bought them. I bought them knowing this was an issue because I wanted to collect them because they are unique. So what Tower 55 is they're Overlands. You know the company Brass Overlands. They were Overland's introduction into plastic locomotives. And they are cool. They're very unique. Very, very nice for their time, which was 2005. They had a very limited run. But unfortunately, all their little tiny drive axle gears are all broken. They can be replaced, but nah. But if I wanted to resell them, I would definitely never recoup my money back from them. I'll show you one just to show you kind of how unique they are. Let me get one out here. So they're all Gevos, right? The only locomotive they ever did was a Gevo. So this is what their box looked like. Tower 55. So, yeah. But this is a fantasy scheme, and I don't think you'll see any other Gevo with this fantasy scheme. I'm not going to take it out of the clamshell because, yeah. Look at that. 777, beautiful Santa Fe. Yellow and blue. As far as I know, only Tower 55 did that fantasy scheme. They did three road numbers. I got 2 road numbers. I got 777 and 724. Oh yeah, they're really cool. Really detailed for their time. And all the separately applied grab irons and railings, they're all brass. It's got a multi-axle drivetrain. So like you can't tell because it's in the clamshell, but it has they use the same drive line in the axles as they do if they're brass. So you can see right through them. So you got see-through trucks, which is really cool. Oh, and they also did a Black Widow. And I do have the Black Widow. Another fantasy paint scheme. Maybe someday, you know, I will get the gears and get them running. But I don't know. It's just they're expensive little buggers. Two of them I have are DCC and sound. Yeah, it's. I mean, I'm sure people have. I mean, like the gearing in the trucks is great. It's just the tiny little drive axle gear. It's a tiny, super little gear. My Union Pacific one works. Nope, that one when I bought it had the little tiny gears replaced. That's my only running one. But I'll show you the Black Widow. It's really gorgeous. As soon as I find it here, make sure I grab the right one. Where are you? I think this is it. It might be it here. Heritage. This might be him. Oh, yeah. I might be wrong. He might not be Black Widow. I think the Black Widow is actually another paint scheme. But here he is. He's still gorgeous. He's Northern Pacific. So I got a Northern Pacific with a yellow bonnet with the red stripe. There's a bit of glare on him, but yeah, man, this is a lot of people's favorites. This guy here. And then the other ones, there's really nothing special about them. It's just, you know, it's just Union Pacific, BNSF, like this, you know, regular paint schemes. But those fantasy paint schemes, I love them. But yeah, just because I thought they were unique, I collected 6 of them. I probably won't collect anymore though. Oh yes, I quickly got to do what I meant to do here. Oh, there, I'll turn my heater. Have to pour myself another beer. Yeah, David, I don't think I'll be buying any more of them because, well, I just can't. And you know, the work that needs to be done to them is a bit expensive. As cool as they are. All right, I need to move my. Let's see. I gotta move a few things without breaking stuff. These can go here for now. That's fine. Yep, I heard my phone do something. This guy. Pretty easy. Alright, put that here. Oh, I really squished the top of it. Dang. Knocking shit down like a boss. What the hell? I don't even know what I got over here and why. Sometimes I make no sense. Alright, that's how I want that. That can go back up. Oh, I know. Ooh, some Fear Factor. There we go. Let's bring that up there. Yeah. Alright, I gotta take this up to the living room. I really bent it. Fuck. Boombox weighed so much. Okay. There. Right there, because I don't want it in here. Oh, Challenger. Here's my chair. Oh man, it is very hard to get parts for. Oh, I'll check it in a second there, Kevin. I'm just bringing something out to the living room. I'm still here. Did I bump the camera? All right, I gotta check my message. Well, I just gotta pour myself a little more ale. Oh yes, the Bachmann CN. I love this thing, brother. It is a beaut. There we go, a little more ale. All good to go, Kevin, my friend. Yeah, what's cool about the this one here is a GP35, and what's cool about it, it's got the wow sound decoder, which sounds amazing, and also the GP35, it's their it's basically a modern version of their Spectrum run, so it has like all the separately applied grab irons and everything, and they got rid of the split frame. A lot of people weren't too keen on the split frame, so it doesn't have split frame. It's got two nice flywheels in it. It's probably one of my best locomotives when it comes to a steady crawling speed. It just kicks butt. You know, we all know Bachmann, has a little bit of, bad blood in the hobby industry, especially back in the 70s and 80s, but they have made some pretty cool stuff. That GP35 is one of them. My newer Bachmann Amtrak Charger, that thing is a beast, absolute beast. Like, they have made and do make some interesting things. Now the interesting, the instruction manual only gives you very basic function commands. You actually have to go on to TCS Wow Sound's website and just kind of print out a whole list of them, because it's a very what's the word I want to use? A very intricate, is that the word, decoder? There's a lot to them, like most decoders. Oh, heck yeah, I'll run it. Come here, Montana. Actually, I'll just bring Montana up here and we'll put some CN rolling stock back on. There we go. Yeah, I might be using the wrong word. I'm a little illiterate sometimes. There's more to the decoder that they don't put in the manual. All right, Mr. Bachman, you're going on. We'll give you some cars to pull here in a second. I'm going to get the clamshell back in here. I do got his prime mover turned down a bit, but his horn I kept up fairly loud. Alright, he's all out of his box. Oh, let me get him up here. Alright, Loco 4000. Oh. Sorry, I'm just pushing a lot of buttons. I do believe that is his grade crossing horn. There's his epic slow speed. He's moving. That's how slow he can go. And he is moving. You just gotta really watch. Yeah, no, he is the best crawler. Like, if you do switching, he's like probably the best switcher. Well, we'll get him up to speed step 2. There's number 2. Like, I haven't ever seen a locomotive that I personally own that can just creep around like this thing does. Number 3. Number 4. 6. Or he jumped up to 6 there, but let's get some passenger. We'll get some boxcars yelling. And it's hard to say if, like, you'd ever find another locomotive. As we know, even if it's the same loco, not all locomotives are created equal, even if they're the same. You know, be hard. I've never found anything that moved like this guy did when it comes to slow. I think that's reverse. Oh yeah, there we go. There's backwards. I wasn't sure where backwards was on the DT400. Let's go forward a little bit. You can just move forward while I put some box cars on. We'll get Montana Rail moving a few steps. There we go. I'll give them a few. Don't need a big long snake going. There we go. Grade crossing. Oh, right. Wrong loco. Grade crossing. There, we'll speed them up a little bit. Yeah, I'm sorry if you can't hear his prime mover there, Kevin. I got it turned down, and I don't remember how the heck I did it. Easy reset. Let's see. I think he probably has a switching mode too, but I can't remember what it is. Oh, I hit some magic button. I think that was the brakes. Oh, I better slow Montana Rail Link down. Oh, there he goes. What does 6 do? I don't know. What does 7 do? Oh yeah, 7's just a dimmer. I still don't know what 5 did. 5 did make him stop. Oh. Oh yeah, that was the brakes. It even make the braking sound. All right, so listen to this. Hopefully my music's not too loud. I'll hit F5 and he'll screech to a stop. There we go. I'll screech him to a stop right here. F5. Oh, I think we all heard that, and it like broke our eardrums. And then just hit the throttle, and he takes back off. All right, Montana. There, you get going again. Is the music too loud, guys? Oh, it does the screech thing? Like I say, I'd like to play... I got a cassette tape in my boombox. I don't know how loud it is on your guys' end. If it's too loud, just let me know, and I'll turn it down. Yeah, the screeching is pretty cool. Unless you want me to do it, I'd recommend doing a CV8 to 8 and then putting the settings the way you want it. That is a good question. We will try that in a second. I don't think my DT4000 has like a actual brake button. Let me stop Montana Rail Link, and then we'll bring them to an abrupt stop and see. All right, we're gonna find out. All right, let's see. No, I didn't hear a squeal. But if I was using them on the DCS52 where it has the actual brake, he probably would have. I don't see why he wouldn't. But Kevin, you're going to have a lot of fun with this guy. He's cool, and I hope he gives you many years of awesomeness. Oh, okay, I'll let you do all the resetting and everything. While I was pushing buttons, I probably messed a few things up on Burlington. I have no idea what I did with Burlington. Oh, yeah, I remember what I did at Burlington. I got to recall them. 9212. There we go. You get going, Burlington. All right, Bachman, I got to speed you up just a little bit. All right, keep Burlington at 10% throttle. That's pretty good. I did the only thing I put on them for details there, Kevin, I put two little vent shades on them, or you can call them mirrors. He's got two little mirrors on them. I got so many spare parts from collecting Proto 2000s back in the day. I was like, oh, I'll put mirrors on them. But yeah, he's got two little mirrors. And then, yeah, that'd be about it. Oh, other than me, I found pictures of the actual locomotive on Google, and I on the real locomotive, he had white grab irons, so I painted his grab irons white, and that was it. So he's got some mirrors and he's got white grab irons. But I'm good at painting. It looks just like factory. I got a very steady hand for that stuff. I'll do that with a lot of locomotives I get, especially the older ones. I'll go and find a picture of Google, and I'll add some touch-ups where the real locomotive has them. It gives me something to do, and I do like detail painting. It's really hard not to play with his horn because it's so bloody epic. And then the grade chorusing. Oh, I'll notch up Montana Rail a little bit. Oh man, it's starting to get dark so much earlier now. So that little white house I got, that's going to be going on the bigger layout up at Lawrence, and I got a bunch of other buildings too. And I will be moving it to the basement. She gave me the go ahead for that. The deal is I have to clean the basement, tidy it up, make the room, make it look nice, which I will. It's going to be a bit of work, but I'll get her done. Keeping it in the sun deck, it's just it's too cold in the winter. Oh yeah, no, you didn't miss much, my friend. No, I was just saying when I buy a locomotive, I'll look up the real one on Google, and I'll do my best to add like details if it doesn't have them on the model. And it's more so a thing with the not so much, well, definitely Bachmann, because Bachmann does kind of like, they're not, we know with their details, Bachmann's not, up there with Athearn Genesis and Rapido and scale trains and stuff like that, right? But that's what makes it fun. So you get something like an older Bachmann or an Athearn Blue Box, and that's what the hobby is all about. It's all about modeling. So you just you just Google a locomotive, look at some different pictures of it, and then add your details. If something's not painted correctly, and if you have the skill, why not? Is there such thing? Yeah, you're very welcome, Kevin. Let's get that grade crossing going again because it's so bloody epic. Oh, wait. I better select the right locomotive, though. Oh, man. David, I'm not looking forward to the weekend. Or should I say tomorrow? But I mean, at least I'm getting paid for it. So tomorrow, me and my daughter, we gotta go to her mom's place, and I promised them I would look after the dog for them on Saturday because they need to go. She needs to go to her graduation because she just finished a medical course, a CCA course, continuing care assistant. I think it is, David. Correct me if I'm wrong. And unfortunately, they have a really old Honda Civic, and they don't trust it to make it to Dartmouth, so they asked if they can borrow my Corolla. I was like, yeah, sure, you guys can take the Corolla, and they're paying me a good amount, a decent, fairly good amount of money to do all that, watch the dog for a day, and everything. So yeah, I just get to hang out in Sherbrooke. But of course, I still don't want to do it, but I will. I will help people as much as I can because I learned to be a believer in karma, good karma. So I try to do as many good deeds as I can. I never used to believe in it when I was younger, but so when they get back on Saturday, that's when me and Lily will be scooting off the Lawrence. And then we'll be coming back Monday morning. I'm gonna be spending some time in the basement. And that is when, and that layout's not gonna evolve until it's in a permanent spot. And the basement is great because it's the temperature it's at. It stays that temperature all year because it's so bloody good. It's so bloody well insulated. When the basement was built before we moved into the house, it was built. They've been building basements like this for a while, but it is the styrofoam blocks that you pour the concrete in. So it's like Lego. The basement is like Lego blocks, and then you pour the concrete in. So you put your basement together with these like styrofoam blocks, and then you feed the concrete inside them. Yeah, then whips and chains. The bottle of lotion. It is the dungeon. But it's decent down there in the winter, and it's cool down there in the summer. It's a win-win. And if I do get cold in the winter, I just have a little space heater I snuggle up with. Or I'll get a cat to sit on me, and we're good. Well, like I say, the most challenging thing in this hobby for me is going to be scenery. I know nothing about it. I mean, yes, I can build a model car, build a model airplane, tear down a locomotive, put it back together, but scenery, it's not, for me, it's not the same. Like David Smith, he's a professional at soldering. He can build his own amplifiers and rip computers apart, put them back together. And me, when it comes to computers, I just want to lawn dart them. But model cars and airplanes and trains, I got all the patience in the world for. But scenery, I mean, this little layout here, it's just a very simple layout. It's fun as hell. I like how small it is, and you can get it all in one shot. Well, relatively. I think I got a couple power poles knocked down because Mr. Kovu did jump up there like Godzilla earlier. And the funny thing is, all these ideas are Lauren's. Lauren's the one that mentioned build a layout in the loft. In the loft bed. Take one of the loft beds, build a layout. I mean, that's all her ideas. I'm like, damn. I was like, that's a bloody hell idea. The loft bed layout. Their power poles back up. Oh, I think Kovu was rubbing on this. That's kind of a little crooked. It is, though. It's a cute little layout. Busy little yard. Ooh, wait. Oh, I sat down, and then I heard something crack when I got back up. Oh, yes, I gotta finish that video that you sent me earlier, David. So we're losing.
Kyle's representing here. As he said, when all you've got left is to sue.
We're losing
Should the Liberals be suing
the
here?
Jeep
Yeah,
Compass
yes.
manufacturing plant.
They're leading. Yeah, sure, they have to pay that money back.
Losing it.
Is Christian for GC Strategies? What happened to that
Fuck.
money? Are they suing for that money, or is that one just being swept under the rug? It's got
That's a crap ton of more
hundreds of billions of dollars.
unemployed
Sure,
Canadians we're gonna have.
or is that just getting stuffed into
It's so
the
bloody
pockets
sad,
of
bro.
pockets and never being seen again? Couple Coco White, Bam Bam, Randy Bowsnell, Steven Anderson, all that money. Big indigenous
And I'm pretty
Randy
sure there
Bowsnell,
was more than the
Canada,
Jeep Compass that was
Canada,
built in Canada.
Canada. I could go on and on and on. Let's start suing. Let's sue all these people. Get all of our money back. It comes down to, as he said, we need to create the business and
Yeah, no problem, Kevin.
want to come here and set up shop.
You have a
Instead,
good one.
Donald
We'll
Trump
talk
is
to you
moving
later.
down south, and it's working. And Carney's helping them do it.
And I guess both can be true, that 10% might be better than other places, but because of the
Oh, I gotta put that. there for sold. Where am I? Oh, there I am. There's my listings. Darn. There. I think that worked out.
Places, but because of the integration and the vulnerability and the profit margins of the Canadian auto industry, it's still fake, right? And
Oh,
it's really
this is
at the
bad.
beginning of the year. So
GM and holy crap.
To everybody who's lost their jobs and fears losing their jobs. And I just wonder, what does it really look like for auto workers at this point in time? Because I'm sure you've seen the comments from Howard Lutnick where he said,
Man, how downhill our country's going, man. Sometimes,
instead.
you know,
It's
it
harder and
just
harder to see what a win is here for Canada in this particular sector.
makes me want to tear up.
Right? That's what they've made very clear. They want all auto assembly. The challenge for us is two things. Number one, we're going into these negotiations in a really weakened bargaining position because of 10 years of poorly managing the Canadian economy. We can't build things in Canada. Bill C-69 stops us from
Yep,
building
don't open the door. What's up?
lines. Imagine if we had built up American reliance on rare earth metals, critical minerals.
Yep, I'll do that.
We actually had alternative places to send our oil and gas. We'd be in a much stronger bargaining position to deal with these kinds of
All right, I forgot I gotta bring the garbage cans off the side of the road before they blow away. I'll be right back. All right, no accidents. Good, no accidents. I was cooking myself up one of those healthy meals. Oh, what I miss? Yeah, we losing Oshawa, losing the Jeep Compass. I don't remember if we build any Dodge Rams in Canada or not. I can't recall. All right, I'm gonna put him back away because he's going to a new home next week. There we go. I just want to make sure that all goes on right. Come here, bud. Oh, I'm sure you'll get lots of use at your new home. Honestly, you run better than any Rakido I've ever owned. That's for sure. All right, now the tricky part: getting the instructions and the clamshell all in there. In you go. There we go. Oh, you slide right in like a glove. Heck yeah. Oh, I guess that's as far as the instructions are going. All right, he put back away. Oh, just a second. Gotta check my dinner. There, I think it's warm enough in here. Oh, righty. All right, CBNS, you look like you're just itching to get back out. So we will let you out. We'll hold these back. Nothing is level on here. All right, 2028. There we go. There you go, bud. You come on out. Oh, my hair's in the way. You just itching. There we go. Well, if I remember, these two speed matched pretty good. We'll bring them both up to 10, I guess. So I think the only Bowsers I have left are my two Cape Breton Central Nova Scotia ones. That's all I need. Pour this back in here. A little more ale. All right. We'll slow Montana Rail down a little tiny bit. I love this chill speed. It's such a chill little speed. They're just all just chill. Just running nice and smooth. Oh, scoozy. All right, I better go check that. Yummy. I'm back with some little bit of supper. All right, try. There, I'll get that video going again.
Bargaining position to deal with these
See
kinds
what's
of
going
things.
on.
But on this particular issue, we put forward a platform for auto saying Canadian manufactured automobiles would be HST free.
Right.
And
But
that
I need
would
my
massively
veggies.
increase the demand for Canadian made automobiles that could offset all kinds of losses that we're experiencing. But they're not doing that. They're sending letters threatening to sue the company that's transferring jobs out of the country.
Look, I appreciate the.
I mean, on top of that, too, right now, America's getting in a tiff with China over canola. Canada could step in and said, hey, we'll sell you canola, and even make it a good deal for America to relieve the tariffs. That way it gives Donald Trump more leverage against China. Make the whole thing one big package, not sectoral stuff, one big package.
I wish
There's
Lily
a
would
path
eat
to
her
victory here. But we need a prime minister who's in it for Canada.
The argument that had the resource development policies been different,
Maybe
we
when
could
she
have a
gets
stronger
older.
overall economy with a higher gross domestic product. I mean that has been a consistent position of the Conservatives. But to bring it down to the Windsor plants, and the Brampton plant, a new oil pipeline
to
does not
me,
save the auto workers'
like,
job.
man, these
If Donald
vegetables
Trump has
taste
decided he's
amazing.
going to destroy the auto industry in Canada and force it to move to the United States, right? I mean, maybe
But
because
actually, if you're
Well, what kind of dumb comment is this? If we have an extra $30 or $40 billion a year of revenue coming in, it gives us way more options. Like, what is this? This is so dumb.
They're
Connor.
juicy
if you're at a
vegetables. are nice.
stronger economy, right? If
Right.
the United States had a reliance on the critical minerals that we should
CN's
have been
catching up.
producing, but it takes 12 to 15 years to build a mine. If they were
try
reliant
and
upon the rare earth metals that we can
speed up.
produce here,
Mm.
if we turn to places that we
Montana.
consider oil and gas, these are all things that you can use when you're bargaining with someone to say, well, wait a minute, actually, we're not going to let you take all of these auto jobs because we can actually find markets for all these other things that you've grown reliant on that comes from Canada. So the weakening of the Canadian economy from all of these things is 100% relevant to the position we're in now. And even what they're trying to do, saying we're going to deal with the bureaucracy and how long it takes to get projects approved by creating a new bureaucracy that may approve certain projects, that's not the answer. We have to
I
get rid of
could
these
have put a couple
impediments
more cars
to
on
massively
CN.
build the Canadian economy so that we can actually have those kinds of bargaining tools and leverages when we're
Man,
dealing with the United
David,
States.
right, but look,
Yeah, but Carney
We
doesn't
just-
care.
Canada
Unless
just
it's
has
gonna
to be
enrich
allowed
his
to
stripe shares. He's not going to do
unleash
He's
its
spot on here.
resources.
We should have had all this in place.
become a
We would
rich
have way
country.
more leverage. Now what can we do? Increase the price of electricity going to America and try to squeeze America that way? Add some sort of tariff or increased tax on energy coming out of Ontario? Cut off the electricity, cut off the oil? We don't have options here.
there is no time machine to go back and change the decisions, right? So that is a hypothetical leverage play that could happen had other things been done. That's not where we are as
Yeah, let's just sweep this all under the rug. That's right. Good job, Cochrane.
a country right now. That's not where the economy is. So in the absence of those solutions, I mean, what is the step?
No, we could still do this right now. Carney could right now lift the tanker ban, lift the oil and gas cap, like fix things immediately. He's
Like,
had time.
most
here.
of
He's
us
had
know
months.
what
He's
has
had
to be
more
done.
than half a year here. He's done nothing.
Here
Why
because
can't our leaders do it?
where it's easier to get a return and where it's just more certain. And right now, that is inside the lower 48 states of the United States and the continental U.S. for manufacturing. Because they decided to use their economy that is 10 times the size of ours as a massive leverage play against.
I just got a random
against the
text
wild
message.
Sure, and part of that is we have an industrial carbon
Ask me
tax
if
that
I'm
makes things
available
like
for a
steel and
chat.
other things that we produce more
I don't
expensive
even know
that they
who it
won't
is.
get rid of. Another part of that are zero emission vehicle mandates. The big three auto producers have said we've decoupled regulation in auto on zero emissions from the United States, and they've made decisions.
Yeah, and that took forever to get rid of.
Well,
They
it's a
had to
scary
push the
thought,
auto
David.
industry to the edge before finally Carney rescinded that, put a pause on it. Like, what a disaster.
In auto that are now coming back to haunt them. All of these things need to be canceled and reversed.
Yeah, so I mean, Kyle's knocking this out of the park here. Good show, pushing back on David Cochrane, CBC. They go back and forth a few more times here, talking basically the same thing. Carney's getting it from
I
both
love our
sides here. We get
province.
it
It's
from the
beautiful.
president
I
to
don't
get
want it
for
to be
It
done.
doesn't stop at auto. They will keep coming until they have weakened us as a nation and as an economy. And that is something we can't stand for. So the moment is now. The line in the sand is Brampton, and we have to push back as a country.
A spokesperson from Stellantis says the company will be adding a third shift to its other assembly plant in Windsor. The statement says, Canada is very important to us. We have plans for Brampton and will share them upon further discussions with the Canadian government. Federal Industry Minister Melanie Joly isn't satisfied with that olive branch.
What'll
What does
happen
it
if
say about how
Quebec
effective
leaves?
Canada is in stopping Trump from getting what he wants.
They've been wanting to leave forever.
Specific example where we had a plant that was transitioning product, and they had an empty plant in the U.S. So, the kind of an easy, cowardly decision by the company to say, let's appease the White House for 9 months of anxiety and ignore the 62 years of partnership in that community in Brampton, Peel Region, and Ontario. Let's abandon 3,000 workers with a robocall. These are the things that we've been warning the federal government about and the provincial government about since this trade war started. Brampton is vulnerable, and there's other plants in Ontario that are either in transition or on pause.
They warned the federal government, yet Carney did nothing. He can't make a deal. Why can't he make a deal? What are they negotiating? What are the terms? Supply management is off the table. Is that the hinge piece that is not allowing a deal to go through?
But it is the loss of
AdVisor is built for all marketers, whether in-house or at an agency.
You can choose which data you want to pull from sources like Google Ads, Google Analytics, Microsoft Ads, Meta, and more. And then decide where you want to put it, whether it's GPT, Looker Studio, or Google Sheets. One subscription includes them all, and each destination comes with valuable, straightforward insights, so you can see what's working and what's not, share performance data with stakeholders, and ultimately adjust your strategy.
It's not enough just to have access to your data. AdVisor eliminates the tech barrier, allowing you to talk directly to your data, giving you more insight, and
Hell
allowing you
no.
to make better.
Table. Is that the hinge piece that is not
That ad
allowing
gotta
a deal
go.
to go through?
but it is the loss of a shift at Brampton. It is not the loss of all of Brampton, right? At least in the
No.
plans that we have available now.
No. The company has said, well, we have other plans and we're going to let the government
Right.
know. No. We have no vehicle in that plant.
Okay.
That plant, for all intents and purposes, is dead. Unless someone says we have a car. If someone says we have a parts distribution depot or whatever, that's like an Amazon investment. Not the,
Yeah, so the company keeps floating this idea, putting their foot in the door. Maybe we'll bring a car back. That's not what's happening here. The third shift is just increasing production in Windsor, which was already set aside for that city. So what are you going to have? A bunch of people flood down from Brampton down to Windsor now and just take up all those jobs?
the company said there's 1,500 jobs available down in Windsor. I mean, 2 weeks ago they said that they were going to add a third shift in Windsor. That's because they negotiated that with the union. Those are supposed to be for people in Windsor. It's supposed to be
Right.
good news.
Small countries that have what appear to be a thriving auto sector, and Sweden comes to mind. So if Sweden can have Volvo, why can't Canada have an auto manufacturer?
That's a very good point. And Sweden sells, they have a great big market. It's called the European Union. And they sell, I've been to Europe many times, and they
Maybe.
sell, Volvo is huge in Europe.
If Canada ever becomes
For
wealthy,
example, you can see Volvo
we can
trucks
just
and
create
Volvo
our own
cars everywhere.
automotive
But
company.
again, the critical point in any industry, especially manufacturing, where the
Create the most
construction costs,
epic
one
vehicles
plant is
ever.
$5 billion. Just one auto plant. And you need multiple plants to be a company. And so the amounts are so large, you need
Just like
very
back in
large
the 50s when
production
we were
lines to
making the
achieve
best of
economies
everything
scale to
until the
break even.
government
So
killed it all.
Volvo is accessing the European market with over 500 million people. So they are doing what one must do to survive in that industry. We've only survived for the last 7 years since AutoPac, when our industry was going down the tubes at the time, was doing very badly. We only survived because we did gain access to a huge market called the United States. And we had it from then until roughly 2 days ago, and the president said, sorry, we're going to make those cars going forward.
But we do manufacture some cars that are, Japanese automakers, U.S. automakers, but the cars.
Yeah,
are
we do
here.
make some
But what
Toyotas.
about promoting those cars in Canada and maybe even giving them a little bit of a tariff edge so that somebody chooses. Actually, Edge is interesting because the Ford Edge used to be built in Oakville, but something that encourages Canadians to buy some of those cars that are primarily built in Canada.
I'm not suggesting there's no market for automobiles. It's a little over 1 million. I think it's 1.2 million cars are actually purchased. But when you look at that, Toyota produces 10 million cars a year. Volkswagen is number 2 at, I think, 9.2, 9.5 million. These are gigantic numbers. And we are a small
That's a lot of
market.
cars.
Toyota and Honda are interesting because they're not American companies. They are already in the U.S. market. They're in the Canadian market. They probably can continue to produce for the Canadian market, but I think we're going to see the GMs and the Fords and the Stellantis gradually withdraw because they understand their market is the U.S. It's vastly larger, and the tariffs are going to make it uneconomic to export those cars made in Canada to the US. And we export most of our cars that we actually manufacture in Canada. They will become uneconomic with the tariffs. That's the whole point of the tariffs, is to make those cars uneconomic in our country. It's the arithmetic that's driving this. I mean, people think it's Donald Trump. Yes, he made the decision, but it's the arithmetic of the tariffs that make the cars uneconomic on the US side, and we export most of the cars made in Canada.
And for that reason, New Zealand had tariffs back in the 80s and 90s. Government comes in and removes the tariffs, and the auto industry there decides, you know what, we can leave. We don't need to make them here anymore. It's essentially the reverse.
Yeah, okay, one last question, and this is why we have you on the program. As you say, you have no economic interest.
Pause this for a minute. Oh, Lauren sent me something too. I'll have to watch it after. Lauren just sent me something, David. I'm going to watch it after this. It said Nova Scotia removes public's ability to file complaints about municipal politicians. Yeah, it's pretty much supper time for everyone. For everyone else, they're a couple hours behind. Fuck. Cutting walls. Sweet.
Yeah, okay, one last question, and this is why we have you on the program. As you say, you have no economic interest.
Well, that was tasty,
connections
but I'm still
to any of
hungry.
the parties here, and the answer to
I gotta say, that's refreshing and a rarity on CBC.
do you think that maybe Canada should redirect the money that it puts into the auto industry? I know there are a lot of canola farmers and softwood lumber producers, who have a great interest in your answer to this, that we should subsidize the auto industry less and put that money in other places.
I've actually come to that conclusion. I read a whole series of studies that were done before Australia exited auto manufacturing in 2017 and the post-mortems. They were done by consulting companies, by government agencies, by academics, and they were really good. They were very objective, empirical, impartial. And, the doom and gloom that people predicted that Australia was going to, collapse or decline precipitously because they exited auto manufacturing did not happen. In fact, their GDP, average income per person, which was below Canada at the time, has gone above Canada now because they pivoted to resources, just as you suggested. Now they pivoted to mining and they pivoted to all the other resources they have.
I'm going to go fire this in the garbage. But I'm still hungry. I might need a cheeseburger. Alrighty. I just enjoy my ale. Oh yeah, turn that back on.
And in
It's
our
almost
country,
Yeah, so that's iron ore, lithium, that kind of thing.
I argue, and I've been talking to my students about this, we don't have a comparative advantage in manufacturing. We like to think we do. I know Premium Ford says we do, but don't have the production
Mr.
runs and the
Ford.
scale of population that Europe, China, US has. But we do have a comparative advantage in resources, in agriculture, in potash, in nuclear, in oil and gas, in critical minerals. We're sitting on
Mr.
literally
Ford
trillions of dollars in
wants to be the
unexploited
king.
natural resources in this country that could fuel an incredible investment boom, because there are investors around the world waiting to come in and develop those resources.
And this is so refreshing. This guy just calls it straight. What we should be doing: critical minerals, oil, gas, potash, agriculture, LNG, all of it. We should play to our strengths here. What is Carney going to do? Is he going to try bailing out the auto industry over and over? Is he going to let it die? Is this part of his plan to push through the whole ED mandate? Is he going to say, oh, the auto industry's dead, we can go back to putting that ED mandate on, you guys have to buy EVs now? What's he going to do? And that whole EV mandate is ridiculous too, because they're not allowing Chinese EVs in, yet they want to force us to buy EVs. Like, make it make sense.
Sweet. The
Venture capital, I
substation.
have to get dangerous with new technologies daily. That's really where all the sense comes in.
All right, let's see what Lauren sent. Oh, I don't think it's a video. It's an article. Oh, no, it's a video. It was 2 hours ago. I think it's very short.
The province says it recently changed the.
Really?
Oh.
Fuck, I just got to... Oh, what did I push? I broke it. I don't know what I did. I hit something and then the video broke.
Changed the municipal code.
I have to let the ad go.
Smooth. I think I'm in love. Invite her to the party then. I can't. I'm too.
Uh-oh, what'd you do?
Oh, come on, just go. Hey, what you? Oh. Another one bites the crust.
What's up? Yeah, I got that.
Dramatically creamy.
Code of conduct following concerns from municipalities. Residents can no longer complain if they feel a councillor, warden, or mayor has done something wrong. Only council members can complain about each other. The president of the Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities says about 6 municipalities reported a flood of complaints since the code came in last year. She says the province needs a standard definition of what makes a frivolous complaint, which can be thrown out.
It was a brilliant move on the part of the province to say, you know what, if we're going to get this right, we need to take a pause and see where we go. So it doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. We want to get it right, and that's tremendously important.
The change comes a month after multiple people complained Halifax Mayor Andy Fillmore made misleading statements about the role of a chief administrative officer. Resident Peter Linfield was one of them. He says removing the public's entire ability to complain while tweaks are made to the code is a weird overreaction.
It just seems like an unnecessary way to sort of limit accountability more broadly. So I just, it seems kind of bewildering to me. I don't understand why that was necessary.
All other Atlantic provinces allow public complaints about municipal officials, as do Ontario and British Columbia. The advocacy group Democracy Watch say they have not heard of any province in Canada to make this move.
For the government to take away this right is dangerously undemocratic and unethical.
Well, I don't think so. I think the reality is that we didn't have any process up until a year ago, and there's some learning happening in the process, and we will continue to work on it.
Despite those comments, Minister Lohr would not commit to eventually bringing back public complaints. The province says citizens can always hold their councillors to account through the election process. Haley Ryan, CBC News, Halifax.
Messed up.
With this first,
I don't even know anymore. So yeah, we can no longer file complaints about municipal politicians. And we are the first province to do it. Can you say we're turning into China? China. Goodness gracious. What? I don't even know what I just watched.
2015 Honda Pilot, 40,000 miles. That's just a fuel tank strap. That's not too important. I touched it and a lot of it already fell on the ground. Check out the frame. Damages the frame. This is a 40,000 mile vehicle. I have the same vehicle with 380,000 miles on it. So what these are capable of is incredible. So to let them rot in New York State is crazy. We're worried about recycling, but we don't worry about keeping vehicles from rotting. Like, it should be a law, but we could definitely prevent this. We can make a vehicle last as long as the vehicle is supposed to last. Yes, you're going to spend some money doing it, but it's definitely well worth it. It definitely changes. It definitely makes the vehicle last longer. It's definitely worth the investment by far. So, obviously, change my angle. This thing still has a lot of life left, and we're actually going to be fogging and saturating this thing and making sure it slows down the most we can, and then we'll go from there.
What in the... That was great. Well, it looks like I gotta adjust some speed. All right, slow down, Montana. Windows 10, end of life. Well, we know that.
Thank you, Rick. What I mean,
Oh.
As a society,
Versus
we value
AI.
being
One.
proactive.
Oh,
We
wait.
put on sunscreen. Your teeth are no different from an enamel active
Really?
shield.
Rule of law.
What is the
Carney
daily
did a press conference today. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. Today, Carney has a press conference talking about his new bail reform system and how he's going to crack down on all the goons, goblins, and gangsters in our country. I mean, jewelry
I gotta
store
cause
thefts.
fire.
We've got people being ended, home invasions,
I
carjacking,
can
all
do that.
that. The majority of what we're looking at here, the questions afterwards, his responses and body language are quite telling. Let's jump into this.
Earlier this week, not far from here, we announced the first project within the GTA of our new federal housing entity, Build Canada Homes. This development will start by delivering 540 factory-built housing units, with at least 40% of those being deeply affordable.
540 units. They brought in 500,000 people this year, and the year's not over, and he's announcing 540 units. We need 1,000 times more homes than he just announced. Just to
Man,
make up
David,
for
I'm
the
really
amount of
craving
people
a
he brought
Big
in
Mac.
this year. Not last year.
I don't know
the year
why.
before, and the past
I
5
shouldn't.
years that Justin Trudeau's absolutely jacked.
That tastes so good,
immigration.
but it's not.
Ultimately,
It
it
make
will
my tummy
catalyze the
feel so
construction
bad.
of over 63,000 new homes
It's like
in the
the
downtown area.
ultimate
He just couldn't help
self-inflection.
himself. Canada's.
But in Canada, we
But why am I
decide
craving
what
it?
happens here.
Why am I
And we're
craving
choosing
something that's
to
so
build
bad for me?
stronger communities where Canadians
And I
can
know
feel
it.
safe in their homes, safe in their neighborhoods.
Like, I haven't had a Big Mac in like a month.
Absurd statement. The amount of crime in our country is absurd. Just looking on global news, what do we have for today?
No.
A man charged with arson after attempting self-immolation at downtown condo. We've got illegal border crossings through New Brunswick. We've got 2 arrested in Winnipeg transit driver assault. They attacked a bus driver.
I'll just
We've
cook
got
up a pizza
psychologists
pocket.
assessing a Toronto man, says here, who admitted to ending 2 strangers in 2022. BC man launches petition against bad guy behind bars who abducted a 13 and 11-year-old. 2 men found guilty of first-degree ending someone. Of Toronto man parked in his car. All those stories are literally from the past 24 hours. Carney talks about safe streets. The streets are not safe. Maybe his street is safe because he's got all these goons here to protect him.
We're fixing ineffective policies from the past and building a stronger, safer future with tough new laws, big new resources, and practical solutions. We will bring in tougher sentences for violent and repeat offenders and invest in thousands of frontline officers to combat crime in all of its forms.
They're not doing that. This is all for
Yeah,
show. This
Carney
guy said
will
tough
believe
new
that when
laws.
I
What are
shit
these tough
strawberry
laws he's talking
sherbet.
about? Our prime minister is literally ripping us off with direct conflicts of interest. There are no tough laws here. This is a joke.
We'll secure our border and protect our sovereignty.
You haven't hired a single border guard. There was another interview in committee I saw. They've hired 0. They promised 1,000. They hired 0. No wonder Trump is pissed off and there's no deal being done. Imagine if they had hired 1,000 border guards already and went to Trump and said, you know what? We're securing our border. We're going to secure the Arctic. Let's work out a deal because we want to do what's best for America. We want to do what's best for Canada. We want to work together. That is not what's happening.
Ooh.
There's so many ways he could get a deal,
A
but there's so many
squishy
ways he's
destroyer.
intentionally choosing not to get a deal because he's invested 91% in America. He's basically an American.
Squishy.
We have an American running Canada.
We will protect our communities and our way of life.
Tell that to everyone who's been a victim of home invasion. This guy is such a clown. You can't have a circus without a carny.
We'll protect your safety.
I love
the
it.
people you
Can't
love,
have a
and we
circus
will
without a
build
Carney.
Canada strong.
This
It's
rhetoric
true.
is getting so old. We have the auto industry basically collapsing, the canola industry collapsing, the forestry industry collapsing, steel, aluminum, copper, the seafood industries. They're all getting hammered so badly. And
Yes,
this guy's
start
talking about
those
building
fires.
Canada strong. Next up, he gets asked about Doug
Ooh.
Ford and pushing back against the Americans. He slips out some information here on what he's actually negotiating right now.
Premier Ford later this afternoon, he's already come out and said he'd like to see you hit back, retaliate against U.S. tariffs. So what's your message to him this afternoon? And does it include a new package of retaliatory action and trade action against the Trump administration?
Well, Premier Ford and I are both interested in results for, in my case, for workers and families across Canada. Of course, in his case, for the province
feel
of
like-
Ontario.
I got C's.
to work
What I did.
to those ends as constructively as possible. Right now, with the Americans, we're engaged in deep negotiations, intensive negotiations.
Ooh, what that over there?
On several
Ooh,
sectors
that.
of the Canadian
Ooh, that.
economy,
Oh, that'd
energy,
be a
aluminum,
long range.
and the steel sector. The steel sector across Canada, but the bulk of the steel sector is right here in Ontario.
Energy, aluminum, and steel. He's basically throwing autos, forestry, the canola, seafood under the bus. Tim Hodgson had a press conference as well. He was asked about the conversation about Keystone XL.
Ooh, 7 fires.
Keystone, I'm not sure we've heard directly from you since your visit to DC. What can you share about what was said about Keystone in the Oval Office?
What I can share with you is the United States is very interested in energy security. We share an interest in North American energy security. What we shared with the Americans is to the extent that they want to talk about a shared North American energy security in conjunction with shared North American views in some of the other affected areas of our negotiations, we'd be very open to that. From a Canadian perspective, if that means sharing some of our oil, we're not hung up on a particular route. If the Americans want to explore a particular route and it's part of those larger discussions, we're open to that.
That's interesting. So Keystone back on the table. Not only is it back on the table, it seems quite likely that if a deal is ever made, it will be part of that deal. We're seeing some new polling here from Angus Reid. Now, most of this is talking about pipeline going from Alberta to the BC coast, which we'll get to in a second here. But first, this one here showing in shaping Canada's energy policy, what do you see as the biggest priority? Now, going back to September 2016, just a year after Trudeau was in power, we see environment 57% and the economy or economic growth at 43%. Going ahead 5 years to 2021, 63% for the environment, 37% for economic growth. But go to 2025, just before Mark Carney gets elected, and that gets flipped here. Economic growth at 55%.
Ooh, I got it.
Now in October,
Got
economic
that
growth
daily
at
so
57%.
fast.
So people are starting to wake up that pipelines, oil and gas, energy, critical minerals, all these things pay the bills in Canada. And jumping back to Mark Carney's press conference here, he just mentioned energy, steel, and aluminum as the priorities, as the first things he's mentioned here. He goes on to mention forestry and autos, but listen to the way he words it here. It's not a top priority for him.
And we want to make progress in those negotiations. I'll be briefing the Premier on the status of those negotiations. We'll also be discussing the auto sector, the forestry sector, other parts of manufacturing, and what will make the biggest difference, not just to those sectors, but to all of Ontario, all of Canada, which is where we end up with the review, following the review of the Canada-US-Mexico trade agreement, which is coming very shortly. So
he says, and we'll be looking at those other sectors. They're a side thought for this guy. Coming from the Wall Street Journal, we've got this article here. It says Bank of America, Morgan Stanley join Wall Street peers in reporting upbeat results. Well, looking at it here, U.S. stocks gain Wednesday afternoon, et cetera, et cetera. We're not interested in that. What we're interested in is this here. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said the U.S. was close to wrapping up a trade deal with South Korea, while talks with Canada were back on track. He said President Trump's good relationship with Xi Jinping should help stop U.S.-China trade tensions from spiraling. But this is still bouncing back and forth with the whole canola thing. Carney needs to step in now and make a canola deal with America, giving power to Donald Trump to push back to Xi Jinping. He could probably save the auto industry or the forestry industry just by using the canola industry against China. So it's interesting that they're posting this here. What do they know that we don't know? The only thing he's focusing on is the energy sector, steel, and aluminum. And maybe that's because Donald Trump, that's what he's most interested in. It's hard to know. We don't know what's going on here, but clearly forestry is getting thrown under the bus. Canola, seafood, and the auto industry all being thrown under the bus by Mark Carney. Here we've got more polling data from Angus Reid. And what do we see? This is support for pipelines. Generally, do you support or oppose the idea of oil pipeline from Alberta to the BC coast traveling through northern BC? What do we see here? There's barely any red. So pink is opposing color, strong oppose is red. We're seeing blue across the board. Obviously in Alberta and Saskatchewan, you're seeing 52% plus 26%, putting that at 78% supports. But I mean, look across the board here. Even in Quebec, it's 50%. 50% of people in Quebec support a pipeline. And even in BC, where we've got David Eby running his mouth like a drunken sailor for over a week now, we've got 56% of people are in support of this. And that doesn't mean the rest of it is opposing. We've got 11% here who are also neutral, who can't say either way. That's only 34% of people oppose a pipeline in BC. I mean, just listen to what David Eby said the other day.
Why would we remove the tanker ban?
Introducing the world's first certified organic reeds, featuring our paper reed holders. Case pounds of plastic goodbye. The new natural organic reeds from the Daria.
It's already 10 a.m.
Still want to go to the gym?
All right, how am I doing over here?
Or
What's going on? Who do I got to slow down? All right.
Why would we put the precious North Coast at risk? The only possible answer would be because the Premier of Alberta woke up one morning and thought that that would be a good idea. She has no project. She has no company interested in building this. She has no money to build it. She has no
tiny little bit of heat.
She has nothing. My message to the federal government has been very straightforward. Do not lift the tanker ban.
This is EV's latest pushback to Smith's pitch to get a bitumen pipeline built to the BC coast. Smith has been critical of EV, calling his opposition to her plan un-Canadian and unconstitutional.
Yeah, David Eby is un-Canadian. He's a disgrace. As for repealing the tanker ban, we've got this broken down by a political party. You're seeing almost zero opposition among Conservatives, only 5%. 43% of Liberals want to leave the tanker ban in place. You can't reason with someone who doesn't operate on common sense. And NDP supporters, 65% oppose tanker ban. This is crazy. Clearly, these people don't understand how a country operates. Energy is the driving engine of everything. Literally everything. Countries who don't have oil and gas or critical minerals or certain driving forces, they are broke and poor. Restricting this will make us broke and poor as a nation. You gotta check this out. Mark Carney's ego here gets deflated. So there's a question for the commissioner here, because there was recently on a podcast, Pierre Poilievre was asked how he would respond to ministers involved in corruption if he were prime minister, and he went on to say that he would fire them depending on how bad the infraction is. Then he goes on to talk about Justin Trudeau and how he broke the law. Trudeau broke the law with the SNC-Lavalin scandal. He also broke the law with Aga Khan taking a vacation from a company that was doing business with the government. He broke the law twice. He should be prosecuted for that. Not to mention he broke ethics laws numerous times. But check this out. Carney gets deflated when the question is not for him at his press conference.
It's actually a question for Commissioner Duham, if that's okay.
Okay. Yes, he's very capable. Yes. Would you like me to step aside? Yeah, there you go. Sorry, sir. I'll just.
Would you like me to step aside? I thought I'm number one around here.
This is a question on behalf of my colleagues in our Parliament Hill Bureau. Commissioner, in a recent interview, the leader of the opposition called the leadership of the RCMP despicable when it comes to enforcing laws against the Liberal government, and accused your officers of covering up for former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in the SNC-Lavalin affair. What's your response to Pierre Poilievre's comments, and have you ever faced political pressure from the government to not pursue charges?
Before he answers this, look at him hang his head in shame when he's asked this question.
Of the RCMP despicable when it comes to enforcing laws against the Liberal government.
Look at this.
Dirty.
Come on.
So I think we've talked about SNC-Lavalin quite a lot under the previous government, and I think it was clear that there's no interference. I don't take any orders from any political individual. And as far as his comment with regards to senior management, I would invite Mr. Poilievre to meet with us and to meet with the people who run this great organization, 32,000 strong. So
that's a weak answer, dude. Weak. All I heard was a lot of
Hi, Monique Malima, Bloomberg News. Bank of Montreal CEO Darrell White said yesterday that Canada's tax system is absolutely not competitive. Do you agree with this, and why or why not?
I disagree with it. And it'll be clear in the budget.
Yeah, of course, because you're fleecing Canadians with their tax system. Yeah, it sucks around here. That's why companies are leaving.
The competitiveness of the Canadian tax system, including relative to the United States for investment. This is a budget.
You can't claim that. All the companies are moving to America. This guy is ridiculous. Of course, he doesn't want to change our tax system. He wants all that money flooding into the government coffers. So next up, Mark Carney gets asked about how confident he is that his new measures he's implementing here today won't get struck down by courts. Now, he goes on to ramble, but at the end here, listen to what he says.
But of course, as a fundamental point on anything, not whether it's what I'm announcing today, what we do 6 months, or what had been done previously, if there's a judgment of the Supreme Court that something is illegal, you follow it. You take this is Canada. It's a country of the rule of law.
Why is it so funny, Carney? He's having a laugh here. Why is it so funny having a laugh about Canada's rule of law? It's a country of laws. Don't worry, guys. Nothing going on here. Nothing to laugh about. This body language is wild. Could it have something to do with this? His rampant conflicts of interest, which he is skirting around the law to get away with. As the law states, if he talks about a sector in general, then he's not violating conflict of interest rules. Say if he says, let's improve our military power, we want to bolster our military, and then does a deal with Lockheed Martin and he's invested, which he is invested in Lockheed Martin, which then, if it's a big contract, would pump up the stock value, increasing his share value in Lockheed Martin, enriching himself. He's allowed to do that. Now, what I don't get is, why is he allowed to announce the Red Chris mine when he is invested in the Red Chris mine? Shouldn't he be charged for this? It's a direct violation, but somehow he just keeps skirting around the law and then laughs in Canadians' faces about it during a press conference.
This is Canada. It's a country of the rule of law.
In Alpha Sense, there's just a single
Bloody
button
heck.
which allows me to look at millions of documents and summarize key insights. That saves me tremendous amounts of time.
Rule of law. No, it's not. We have Palestinian protesters who are blocking. Blocking streets, which directly endangers Canadians. What if an ambulance has to go through? I guess Canadian lives don't matter.
Good morning, Prime Minister Barbara with iPolitics. Just passing along a question from my editor, Marco Vigliotti. So Stellantis threatened to pull out of the Next Star project in Windsor back in 2023 because the U.S. passed legislation allowing for even more generous subsidies. I understand that we're not Prime Minister then, but it seems like these contracts are not terribly binding on the automakers. So is it a mistake to broker deals promising billions to companies to build here, knowing that experience suggests that they can just flee or demand more cash without much in the way of consequences?
Okay, well, first off, wow, look at his body language. Look at him laugh here when he's asked this question.
More generous subsidies. I understand that we're not Prime Minister.
What is this evil laugh? Carney licking his lips here at all the subsidies Brookfield's going to get through modular houses and nuclear projects, green tech, all this stuff that Brookfield is wrapped up in, that Mark Carney's going to be dishing out that cash soon. That's what it looks like to me. What a devious little laugh.
This more generous subsidies. I understand that we're not Prime Minister then, but it seems like these contracts are not terribly binding on the automakers. So is it a mistake to broker deals promising billions to companies to build here, knowing that experience suggests that they can just flee or demand more cash without much in the way of consequences?
Okay, well, first off, I know you're passing on a question. You can pass on this answer back to your editor. That's not a fair, an accurate description of the contract that the federal government signed with Stellantis and their partner LG. There are undertakings in that contract for the Next Star battery that relate not just to the completion of that, but to the undertakings here in Brampton, not far from here. So there is exposure of the company if they were not to follow through with those commitments for Brampton, restarting Brampton, the employment in Brampton, related commitments to their Windsor activities. Let me say so. But let me also add that
our government is
the
returning.
global head of Stellantis 2 days ago. In advance of the announcement, I expressed disappointment on their decision to shift where the Jeep production was. I reminded the global CEO of those undertakings and that partnership that's been there. I received assurances from the global CEO of two things. One, that they're looking at different model being produced in Brampton. That decision would be taken in the context of the finalization of the USMCA, to use the American term, CUSMA, to use our term, negotiations, and as well that support would be provided for workers. We're working with them, we're working with Unifor, working with the province to ensure that those workers for Brampton have more than just the opportunity, and they do have the opportunity to move to the additional shift that is being put on at Stellantis's other facility.
Yeah, but if you saw my previous video, Flavio basically showed that that was part of the negotiation with the union to create more jobs in Windsor, not to have all those jobs gobbled up by the Brampton plant shutting down. There's 1,500 jobs too. At most, it would gobble up half those people. That wouldn't create more jobs. That just is a reduction of 50% of the lost jobs.
Because there's 1,500 jobs coming with that third shift there, but also that they have comparable support to what they receive at present while the Brampton factory is idle. So
every day, pros like you are choosing Behr for same-day or next-day delivery of top-rated Behr paint, stains, and primers right to their job sites. Contact your dedicated Behr Pro Rep today, exclusively at the Home Depot.
I don't know. I don't know all this bullshit anymore. Victory. I'll take it. Ugh. Like, my brain just hurts so much right now. Frag. The Canadian government is just as incompetent as Hornby trying to make a fucking locomotive. Let's mount the locomotive in with duct tape. Sorry, not duct tape. That'd be better. Electrical tape. Ugh. Electrical tape? Well, that's brilliant. And we'll hold that motor in there with electrical tape. That'd be awesome. Do it. Fucking brilliant. Dumbass shit. Not even Bachmann does that, dude. Bachmann's motors are in there. Fuck. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not gonna argue that. I just don't understand. I don't understand the incompetence. I mean, frig, you guys even seen it on the live stream. Like, holy crud. Yeah, electrical tape kind of loses its grippiness. That's the word I want to use. I was in the email contact with Hornby, but they need a model number of the locomotive that I didn't give them a picture of. So they'll likely send me a new motor. I'll devise a way to mount it in a little better. I would say I got some really good automotive two-sided tape, but that might be too much. If the next motor breaks, I might not get it out. Yeah, but then I'd have to figure out a way to screw it in there properly. I mean, if I ever have decent money, I mean, I don't think, knowing what I know now, I think the only steam locomotives I'd ever buy would be a BLI. Brass or bust. And unfortunately, it's bloody expensive. Well, I'll have it apart again, and I will, I'll take a much more thorough look. Like, is this such a poorly designed? Holy crap. Or metal. Either or. Like, you know what I mean. I know there's a lot of good quality plastic steam locos out there. But yeah, no, I like the die cast. Not wrong with that. Die cast is good. Kick ass. I'll take either. Yeah, add an extra $200 on that for Canada. Ugh. Oh my god. Oh shit. I think my beer's getting warm. Yeah, the old River Aussies, like I never owned one. I mean, they're nice, but they're not they're missing a few details for the price of them. I've seen that. When I looked at River Aussie's FEF 844, the throttle, the whole throttle linkage assembly, it's not even separately applied. It's all molded into the boiler. That really turned me off from it. How can you charge that much money and your throttle cabling and linkage kit is molded into the boiler? I was not happy. There's certain things that irk me arse. Okay. So when are you going to get 611? BLI did it back in the day, didn't it? Oh, you don't want it 611. You want one of the other numbers, but you know what I mean. Lauren just calls it the locomotive that looks like a dildo. Yeah, J class. That's where I brain farted. The J class. Yeah, that's exactly what she said. She said it looks like a dildo. She's like, that looks like something I'd shove in my vajayjay. Yeah, I have noticed that. That is interesting, isn't it? Well, at least it's not as bad as all British locomotives looking the same. I mean, can you imagine you live in England and you're a collector and like all your locomotives look the same? I mean, God, we got it bad enough here, but in England, there's even less variety. Bullet nose. Yes, we have some bullet noses in Canada, too. We got some sexy bullet noses. They were, yeah, they were all different colors. I mean, I'm not trying to, smash on the British locomotives because I do like them. I do. But I find in North America we got a lot more variety of shapes and sizes. Oh God, yeah, you gotta have all the colors. You get the blue, you gotta have the red and the green, and the gray. Oh, Brian, you'd make the poor Brits cry. I bet you can't wait till Mallard's record gets smashed because the Brits been holding it forever. Brian's just waiting until that duplex locomotive is complete, and it absolutely destroys Mallard's record. And we all know it is. It's going to destroy Mallard's record. And then you know the British are going to try and beat it again. But I don't think anything the British have is going to achieve 130 miles an hour without significant damage. That's a good question. Well, my hush hush is a 464, right? Correct. And I don't think they got much bigger than a hush hush. A 462, they had a lot of those. 262, Makito design, very common. I'm pretty sure a Mallard was a 462. I think Hush Hush was probably the biggest. They had a 482. Well, maybe they did. They probably did have a 482. I have quite a few British locos here. I know the A4 class was 462. I got Silver Streak here. Where is he? Where is he streaking? Where he be streaking to? Cock of the North is a Makito. And 282. Yeah, Cock is 282. And then, yeah, Silver Streak is was a 462. Oh, sorry, Silver Fox. I got Foxy. I don't even know if Foxy even runs. Come on. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up if they had a 482 mountain class. So, example like I got Silver Streak here. So this is a very common, I do believe, is A4 class. That's a 4.62. Oh, Burlington's kind of in the way. And we've seen Cock of the North running the other, there a couple live streams ago. And he is a 282 Makito class. And yeah, Hush Hush would be a 4.64. But Hush Hush is not like nearly as big as Goose. Actually, I don't even. Hush Hush would probably be more equivalent in size to a whatever class it is, but a New York Central 4.64. All right, I gotta go pee. I'll be right back. Maybe. Just maybe. You know, her parents are a little weird. All right. I mean, the goose is like gargantuan. I even said the goose is like freaking absolutely massive for a 464. I was like, that thing is just bloody huge. It's on roids. Man, I don't even know if the Silver Fox will even run on my DCC layout. I'll try them out when CN comes around. Silver Fox, oh my God, years. Couple of years anyway. I think my second year into the hobby, I wanted to get some British locomotives. But before I met you, he's been up in the closet for a very long time. I also have another British locomotive I wanted was Dominion of Canada. I have him because we have him in a museum. I think he's in the Montreal Museum. There you are there. Yeah, I don't even know if Foxy's gonna run. That's what I'm hoping I am when I get old. I'm hoping I'm a Silver Fox. Long silver hair. Women still wanting to bounce on my manhood. It'd be great. Great fantasies. All right. We'll go 0. We'll go. I don't know. Oh, we got movement. Foxy's going. Get that old Bachman going. Oh no, he lost his load. No, Foxy. You lost your load, bud. I thought I seen something wrong with the coupler height. I may have to do a little shim. I'll reverse him around. right, let me see here. I gotta get Montana. No, Montana Rail. You need to go backwards, bud. Oh, damn it. You need to go back. Because I need to get Silver Foxy over here. All right, Mr. Fox, get over here. Oh, yeah, the coupler height is bad. That's really bad. I don't know what I can do for him. Yeah, that's horrible. Oh, that's so off. It needs to be higher, like a lot higher. Oh, maybe he works. That's a bonus, but yeah, that's a bad coupler height. And I already got that version on him. So he's going to need a... he's going to need a special boxcar or coach. That'd be the only way he working. I even got the high-mounted coupler Katie on him, too. But he still won't... yeah, that's no good. Well, you guys ain't going to see that from your angle, but... oh, there is something ghetto I can do. Because these are metal, I can bend them up a bit, but that is a little risky. Might not go over super well. I'm not sure what else more I can do for them. Oh, it just popped right off. Well, ain't that gay. The Katie didn't even screw in there that well. That ain't good. Oh, no, that's not good at all. Yeah, not too sure what to do for him. But hey, it runs. Would have been cool if we could see him run a little longer. All right. Well, he's not going to couple up to anything, so that's in the poop chute. Right in the poop chute with no lube. But let me think here. Where's Blue Peter? Where is Peter? Come here, Peter. Oh, there's Tornado. Oh, there's Blue Peter. Oh, come here, Peter. Hello? Don't let the cat in. Oh, you're bringing some Lucky Charms in?
Yes, I don't want your live streaming.
Oh, yeah.
It will close.
You gotta really push it. It's really warping a little bit. All right, we'll see if Blue Peter. Why is Blue Peter not blue? His name's Blue Peter.
Why is it not blue?
I don't know why he's not blue. Like he should be blue, but he's not. Womp womp. Oh, yeah, those are good. Thank you. Have some Lucky Charms. Yum. Oh, Mr. Blue Peter. Oh man, he's a pain in the butt to get that in there. Oh, you're leaving already?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
I need you to move the chair though.
Oh, I'm trying to move the chair as much as I can. Yeah. But as much as I get it. Thank you for the short visit. All right, Blue Peter. Let's see if you can couple up. Because I gave you the actual conversion kit. Silver Fox wasn't so lucky. Oh, God. Okay. Oh, yeah, he's good. He good to go. Nope, maybe not. Oh, come on, Blue Peter. You can go. Crap. Oh, that's all Blue Peter got. That's all he's got on DC. Oh, he's not even moving. Well, that's no fun. Blue Peter just stopped. Spent all these money on these British steam locomotives, and the only one that worked was friggin' Silver Fox, and he was like from 1990. Blue Peter's a lot more modern, and he can't even get a. Then again, you know, he is DC. I bet with a decoder, it'd be a lot better. Man, why is it all like, oh fuckery? All right, Blue Peter, you're going back. You're fired. What the fuck is happening now? I don't even know. Get in there. The tornado wouldn't do it. Tornado wasn't having any of that. We haven't rolled in a while. An X Illinois Central SD70. Nothing wrong with an XIC SD70. He a little dusty. All right, 10:31. He's a beastie. Well, we tried to get some British theme to work, but it all failed. Oh, you need some lights on. There you go. Or I'll lower his volume a little bit. So the more modern Athearn Genesis, you just hit F9 and it'll turn the volume down about or it'll turn the prime mover down about, say, about 30% or so. You hit F9, brings it back up. But the horn relatively stays the same. The horn goes down a little bit, but I mean, for a small room like this, hit F9, lowers the volume. Great. We'll get his ditch lights on. There we go. Some bright ditch lights on him. He a little dusty. Even in the drawer, he got dusty. My good old dust brush. Although, you know, BLI has become my favorite brand name. My second best is definitely good old Genesis. Because they've always... Oh, no. No. I have connection. And it's like, bleh. Bloody YouTube. But you guys know what another really good brand name is that I've never had any issue with? And that's Bowser. Bowser's like an underdog. They're friggin' just bloody reliable. But David, if you think about it, have you ever stumbled across a huge issue with Athearn? Like a major issue that like couldn't be fixed like so bloody easily? Yeah, exactly. And for me, their customer service is fucking amazing. Anything I've ever needed, they got to me shipped within a week. Hence why I'm fairly loyal to Athearn. Rapido, I'm not too happy with. It's been a month. I still haven't got my horn. Actually, I think it's been over a month now. I'm never going to see that horn. Rapido, it's like they're like, how can I describe it? Oh, in my experience with Rapido, they're like Nintendo. You gotta have it because it's Nintendo, but their customer service is kind of shite. But it's just like, Nintendo, take my money. Rapido, take my money. It's one of those things. I think you know what I mean. Yep. Yeah, they are. They really are. And it's like, as much as I love Rapido's product and Nintendo's product, I think their customer service is shite. Absolute shite. And then I got that new GP40. Friggin' with that. Friggin'. Oh, yeah, man. I don't even know where to start with Xbox. They're, yeah, that's some shite going on there. So Game Pass Ultimate, they want to up. I don't know if they're going to do it now. I'm not sure. I was watching a video on it last night, trying to catch up on the whole system, on the whole situation. So I've had Game Pass Ultimate for years, and they want to up it by 50%. So basically, I got an email saying Game Pass Ultimate was going to go from about $25 after taxes to $51 after taxes per month. That is insane. And the problem with Microsoft is you have to pay some kind of subscription fee to play online with your friends. Hello, Eugene. Hope your night is going pretty awesome. Oh, the walls are up. Oh, and Bachman. The first time ever I reached out to Bachman, they never got back to me. I didn't exist. And that was about the 4449. But I also read that majority of people had great experience with Bachman customer service. The walls are up. What time is it? 8:25, eh? Let's see what is. Let me jump on the Xbox here and see what's going on my alternate YouTube account. Oh, my head is itchy. Oh, Northern Perspective did something about 6 hours ago. Liberals forced to kill controversial Bill C2 that violated charter rights of Canadians. Fucking libtards. Limp dick fucking libtards. Yeah, I'm just turning it on now. Oh.
Because of how much the Conservatives have been speaking out and opposing and pushing back against Bill C2, that it has been completely gutted and is now a shell of its former self. Let's take a look. Well, fundamentally, they're obstructing or stepping on their own agenda by weaving into this bill provision that gets a lot of data. Why is that? There's some additional concerns that this bill raises around civil liberty. They've woven in provisions that involve written suitability of open mail without oversight. The ability to compel internet companies to enter private information. Additional provisions around warrant lists and searches. This government does not have a great track record when it comes to protecting Canadian secret data. It doesn't have a great track record.
Well, of course.
Privacy, the right to the civil liberties of Canadians. And yet a government that has done so badly in these areas is asking for more power in the area of open bail without oversight, compelling the transfer of private information, and also warrantless searches. So these are the issues that are attached that I raised, address other concerns about what this government is really driving at. So what we really need to see, is fundamental reforms to our criminal justice system that get us back to a time in which crime was going down. Crime was going down before this government took office. It's not up since it took office. So we need to ask why that's happening.
It sounds like for the last 4 years I've been here,
talking about having a bill. So what exactly is this suggesting that we can work on to move this forward collaboratively? Because many voters who want to see us have a bill for voters, and as well as work in cooperation with the whole House to pass good and sensible bills. So what exactly is the member trying to shift and change in this bill? Because he spent 4 years talking about this. So now we have a bill, and he is complaining. What is he complaining about? For sure, we're Saskatchewan. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm happy to repeat what I just said. We have concerns about the provisions of the bill around use of cash and limiting that. We have concerns about the restrictions on civil liberties. We have actually been asking for changes to sentencing, to parole, to bail. Those changes are involved in this bill. So that the changes that we have said are critically needed when it comes to criminal justice are not in this bill. And they've
Of course, they're not in the bill.
there are some horrible provisions that weaved in some areas in the system concept that are really a concern. And I'm sorry if it's necessary to repeat that, but hopefully it's clear to the member now that those provisions we're talking about, use of cash, provisions being an issue involved restrictions on civil liberties. Thank you.
So this is just one of the many, many parts of C2 during that debate where the conservatives got up and they talked about this. And if you go back and actually look at our video when C2 initially dropped, these are precisely the concerns that we had. Very, very disturbing issue to this bill. And the Liberal stands up and says, you've been asking for a bill on borders for 4 years, and we finally put one forward. What's the problem? Well, here's the problem, is that what the Liberal government wants to do is they want to put in some pieces of legislation into the bill that made sense, get behind that.
Oh, I meant to grab some.
Very, very disturbing pieces of legislation that would chip away at our charter rights. And I guess they're just hoping that people would notice. This is one of the key goals of the opposition, is to make sure they fully understand every single piece of legislation that comes through and oppose it whenever it's necessary. So C2 was in the midst of second reading, and this is where
Spam. No. No one know that.
So this is what we want from C2 for a while. And this is just Garnet Janice. Let's get to the next person.
Put some diesel fuel in here. Oh, shit. There we go. What does add one? He was looking a little stumpy. Oh, I should answer the spam call. Hello, Alibaba's Pizza. Pick up or delivery. And they hung up.
Very, very big concern that the government wants to give itself the ability to essentially spy on the citizens and see what they're doing over the internet. And it's well,
Oh no.
you can't
Something
protect
tripped.
yourself. We'll protect you.
Well, I think they're fine.
You just have to surrender your rights to allow us to do that. But don't worry, trust them. It's not like we have a track record of infringing on the rights of Canadians in the past, right? Now, to answer your questions, Mr. Mark Harrison is going to ask a question. Here it is. We're on the street right now. The rumor that's been flying around is that the Democrat, and we don't even like the Democrat, plans to run a pro-Russian networking against the general election. He might even be trying to push her out of the agenda. So my question for all of you is, can she assure us that she will be remembered in that note? I remember that such things to come out over the government. This is all the honorable member. It's funny, in the debate that we had with the talks, we're very grateful about the fact that there's been no dissension with everyone right now. That is a very strong movement as the trust in its team. But they're to come back and say, we're not trying, but they're trying to create this point. Mark Harrison trying to say, okay, well, you know, you're trying to push it out. Okay, what do you think about that? Never mind the fact that you raised very serious concerns about using race baiting. I'm not trying to address those. I'm just going to start a murder. Ladies and gentlemen, liberal politics in action.
Oh my God.
Spots it away and then dives right back into the core issue, which is the provisions that were put into this bill that would erode the charter rights of Canadians. Now, this is not a left versus right issue on this bill. It's not. And the reason I can say that is who wins very, very hard yet had significant concerns with this bill. She called us a Gazelle.
Canada's a massive single.
Skip.
Last chance to win. These boat bar.
What's that for? Well, Cedric is streaming. give his stream a little bit of support too.
Hello, Matthew. Hope your day's been well so far. Good to see you in the stream again, as always.
He's got that nice Rapido friggin' what is it called? Not a PA unit, but the smaller one. Having a brain fart.
Technically, they have Rapido cells, the most accurate version of the FA ever made.
Yes, FA.
They have a fully designed interior.
It's one of them. Either FA, I'll ask him. FA or FA2? Oh, damn. The horn sounded good.
FA or FA2, select them both. Yes, FA2.
FA2's there, bro, or David.
They look really good. Johnson, they do look really good. I love that Rapido actually took the effort into changing the sound file on the computer to actually have the correct runtime home, which is really cool. They actually put that in. Maybe a bunch of feedback.
That's how much opposition was being thrown against us.
Also, Mike had
That's how much they were screaming against us. So for those saying, well, you know, you're not standing up. Yes, they absolutely are. Why don't you pay attention to politics? Maybe you'll actually see that they are. They are standing up and they are speaking against these things. To the point that they managed to kill C2 before it was even voted on. Now, what we expected to happen is that C2 would have voted on, and then it would have gone directly to debate, and then you would have had this long-drawn-out study. All these some of these associations coming in, speaking on why it's bad, criticizing it. We've already managed to cut everything out, and then it would have come back with all these opinions. So, what the liberals ended up doing is like, you know what, we're getting too much heat from this, so we might as well just get rid of it right now and start C12 after beginning the process all over again. So now C12.
I definitely love their numbers. It's their customer service is not great. Been waiting almost 2 months for a horn, almost a month for birth. Wow. Yeah, that is crazy, honestly. That is quite some time. Wow. Yeah. Well, at least they, I guess, allowed you to order a horn, right? At least that, but still. These are not as bad as MTH. MTH would just say, hey, go look for yourself. I tried fixing the front of this. That has like the plow grips, I dropped it on my floor, and it still runs just that good, but of course, that was after MTHHO would close its doors, so it might have been different back before that, but yeah, MTH is interesting. I don't know why, unless it's just like their customer support team must just not be paid enough to do it. They're too late, I guess, but Yeah, it's like I would say, hey, do you guys have the front stitch lights? Then they would respond with, go look for yourself. And they actually said that in the what do you call it, section of it, say Parts Finder. It's like, how hard can it be? Like, I'll never find a PNG decoder? Yeah, good luck with that. At least I have the DCC Red version. I put my own locks on decoder and stuff. So at least that, but yeah, is that your what do you call it? Your PS3 MTHHO still running, or is that thing dead now? I remember the last time I was in your stream, what do you call it? It just wasn't running right. It was slowing down when we stream or something. Like the lights were flashing or something. Was that what was happening? Yeah, I wonder if that's still going on.
So what is the Strong Order Act now? The Strong Order Act now is a watered down version that basically
It's the wrong one of them. I keep going along with it. So I will say, like, if you're, your MPH, what's it called? It was an ES44AC, I think it was. If the lights are, like, dimming in the front, then it's not the decoder, it's actually the motor. So if that's what you're talking about, then you don't need to buy a new decoder. Just need to find a replacement motor. They use an operating motor, I think, inside. It's really hard to find. The app is working on the little layout, but we think it does not like my DCS50 on the big layout. My other MTH, the ST7AC PS2 blue. Oh, that sucks. Oh. Yeah, well, I mean, it's... Yeah, their coders weren't that reliable, I will say. They sounded great, but not that reliable. Yeah. At least one still works. Although I will say, the decoders do come up occasionally. They do. I've seen them once this month. I saw one, but it went. It disappeared as soon as it was listed. So yeah, hard to find. The models themselves are nice. Yeah. I love the electro couplers, but their steam is better than their diesels and things. I love the 1.5-minute startups they have. Really nice.
I don't even know what a DL109 triple window is.